Hello everyone, my name is Howie. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Last episode we found diamonds at insane speed. If you haven't seen it, I will link it in the video description for you. While you're down there, leave a like and subscribe so you know first when new episodes arrive. Today we're not on Gifted MC because it is Autism Awareness Month and I want to show you something epic. I'm going to show you 10 signs your fellow Minecraft player might be neurodivergent. I'm going to split these up into the autism spectrum, ADHD, and giftedness. There are more neurodiversities, but these are the most prominent. Obviously, we are having a bit of fun here as most of our players on Gifted MC are ND, so please take this with a grain of salt. Let's get to it. Number 1 is what I call the stone base. Every world gets one of these eventually, so let's get in there. So you have everything you need, a chest, an ender chest, a crafting table, and so on. You have a bed to sleep in. The height of the ceiling is 2.5 blocks, so you don't have endermen spawning in here. I mean, you get it, right? It's very basic, but it fills your needs. You also have a little farm on the backside. You have some animals and... well, that's like the thing that I always build on my new worlds pretty soon because it looks good, it's easy on the eyes. It just misses maybe one thing, that's probably color. Yeah, so this is what I believe is like one of the ways to spot someone on the autism spectrum. So let's get to the next one. Number 2. This is what I call the wood base. In this case, it's made of oak. Most of the time, it's just one type of wood, the most prevalent in the biome, essentially. Sometimes I go with stripped log floors. Essentially, it's like a giant kitchen, if you will. I mean, we could have put a bed in here, but why should we? I mean, we still have another floor to go on. And up here, we have a cozy bedroom, like nobody can disturb you here, and a small table for one. Not everyone who does this will be on the spectrum, but it's essentially what I think I would do. You also have everything you need. You have chest, you have a grindstone, you have an anvil, like all the things. Yeah, well, you could get a better enchanting setup, obviously. And that's essentially it. Number 3. This is what I call the copied design. You might remember this from somewhere. This is essentially Barty's in my place. I copied it out of our world and put it in here so you can take a look. So essentially what I did when I designed this house was I copied a design I found on the internet and I basically placed it block by block. That is essentially how to spot someone who's like interested in having a nice home but like does want to get it done fast and is not very emotionally invested in things. So interior design is pretty minimalistic, which is also a good sign if you want to spot someone on the spectrum. This is still a work in progress, I suppose. Barty and I are going to move out pretty soon. This is the bedroom. Barty has all the animals. She loves animals. We also have this door. So you can normally go back into the garden area, but I like cut this off accidentally. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, this nice tree here and some water flowing around. But I suppose that's it from this one. So that's how I would try to spot someone on the spectrum. Let's go to the next one. Now we are dealing with ADHD. There are a couple of ways to spot people that have ADHD. I'm going to show you the first one. This is what I call the huge empty base. So it looks very cool, but also a little bland, so to speak. It's mostly huge and it makes funny sounds. If you go in there, you see that the place looks pretty cool, like every other place would look. Sometimes even a little overdone. You have this and you pretty much think, oh wow, I'm very interested in what the next floor is going to be. And then you go one stair up and you go like this, what? And you look up and you see nothing. So that's like how to spot someone who has or probably has ADHD, because they always start stuff and they don't end it. Over to the next one. Number 5. This is the one I call the half-finished base. It's usually pretty big, like this one. It looks like an empty shell because it has been built like to huge spec and often it's part of a structure, but there's just nothing in it. If you wander in there, you see a vision or something like that, and you can just see that someone abandoned it mid-project what everyone else pretty much would think of as a cool thing. But yeah, if you got ADHD, it's pretty hard to concentrate. So people leave huge shells of bases. That's also what happens on our servers sometimes. So that's that. Up to the next one. Number 6. This is what I call the door in the mountain. I'm also guilty of this one, to be honest. So you don't see anything, right? There is nothing here. Okay, so we can go, right? No, we can't. There's this little door here, a little bed, just the most basic stuff, an empty chest. And then you go down here and you see, and you bump your head a dozen times, and then you see like a lot of branch mines. I mean, they're pretty long usually, but in this case they're not. So this is what I call the hole in the mountain. Number 7, and now we're entering the gifted territory. A lot of people on our server are gifted, and you can see it for better or worse. And this is what I call the mega base work in progress lol. So you essentially have this base. Yeah, it's like a huge thing. I just used some spheres so you can imagine what it would look like. And then you have like this, I don't know, wood section here, like this is a simulated outside section with clouds and sky and whatever. Then you have something like a big pool, which is supposed to have some animals in there or whatever. And then you have a way up to the next floor. Then on this side, yeah, well, you're empty. This is what I meant with work in progress as well. And on the other side, you have like a cave, which is like just showing off some of the features of the world and whatever. So this is this. And then over here, you have like this end dimension kind of looking thing, which is mostly black, like the void, and has a black sky with some stars in it. You know, just imagination. But usually how to spot a gifted person is if they go bonkers on the size of their project, then you know it's like that's going to be a rough one. But it's also very cool. So let's go to the next one. Number 8 is what I call the Redstone catastrophe. So a lot of gifted people like complicated things. We like to crank our heads around something, and we build huge things. This is obviously a massive overstatement, but I mean, you get the gist of it, right? You have chests and chests and chests and chests, and everything has redstone behind it. Yeah, you know, this thing makes my eyes hurt, and essentially it makes my server hurt if I see it. If you're gifted, please try not to overdo it on the redstone. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard to keep the server running. The chests are not even displayed correctly now. That's interesting. Number 9 is what I call the Lagfest. This thing I copied off the internet. It's called a lag machine. To show you what it does, I'm going to show you these sheep here, right? So look very closely. They're kind of interested in me at times. They look at me and they move. Although pretty blocky, they still move quite consistently, right? But once we do this, I can also see my frames drop. And now look at those sheep. Can you see that? They start stuttering when they move. This is because I have, let's look at F3 here. I have just put our server under so much strain that we have 200 milliseconds per tick. This means we're down to 25% the usual rate of our server's speed. So this makes everything extremely laggy. And a lot of gifted people like to play around with Redstone. And some of them are a little trolly, so they put machines like this on servers and watch them crash and burn. So if you're on a public server, please don't do this. It's just not fun to anyone but you. But this is not the last one. We have one bonus, which is not connected to a specific neurodivergency, but to all of them in a bit. So let's go over there. So now that we have recovered from our lag, I'll show you number 10, which I call the bed in the Cornrows. This is essentially a pretty easy one because I've seen these 1,000 times. People just building like a ton of fields and stuff. and like harvesting corn all the time, have just a couple of chests and a crafting bench and a bed, and that's essentially their whole base. There's nothing else, like no hidden entry, no nothing, just these. It's pretty funny because, I mean, if you're on a server, you have like a lot of space, especially on Gifted MC, where you have 256 blocks square to make your base, and from bedrock to build limit. So essentially, this would be unnecessary, but I guess to each their own, right? And what do you think? Have you ever spotted someone you think is probably neurodivergent on your server? Are you neurodivergent yourself? If so, you might want to check out Gifted MC. I'll link the homepage in the description below. Okay, my friends, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like so YouTube can suggest you more videos like this one, and subscribe if you want to know what's going to happen to me next. Also, leave me a comment on what you want to see in the future. Have a good one!